I'm Ryan,
And I'm Nick.
and you're listening to Going Offsides, presented by the Lacrosse Collective on the Lacrosse All Stars Podcast Network.
All right, so I'm here with Aleš Golob from Slovenia, and he is going to talk to us today about lacrosse in Slovenia. And Aleš, why don't you introduce yourself?
So I'm Aleš. I'm 25 years old. I come from Slovenia, from the capital, Ljubljana. Before I met lacrosse, I was swimming for 11 years, and now for the past 6 years, I play lacrosse. And yeah, it's been just wonderful being here. So thanks for having me. I want to tell you guys about lacrosse in Slovenia and maybe some of my experiences along with it.
Absolutely. So why don't you first tell us, how did you discover lacrosse? Lacrosse is not big in Slovenia or in most of Eastern Europe. So, how did you find it? How did you start playing it? Anything like that.
My first experience was actually 6 years ago. I was going through Facebook, and at that time, the new club was invented. It's called Lacrosse Club Olympia, and they had like a digital advertisement, and I saw the ad on Facebook, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try. I mean, I didn't know about lacrosse at all at that time, so it was just after I finished swimming, so maybe like a year later, and I was like, okay, maybe I should try a different sport. I don't know what it is. It looks fun, and that's how I got into it. And on first practice, I remember there were three guys. They put a stick in my hand, no helmet, nothing, and we just played some catch because there was not enough guys for real practice or anything. And around 20 passes in, I got hit with the ball into my nose, and I started bleeding. So that's my first experience with lacrosse.
Yeah, and that happened, and you still liked it enough to come back. So that's pretty good. So you mentioned the Club Olympia. That's where you found out about lacrosse and you started playing. Are there many clubs in Slovenia, or is that the only one?
That's one of three clubs. So we have two men's clubs and one women club, and they're all like separated entities, let's say. But for example, the guys, we train together. So the guys from the both teams, we train together because there's just not enough of us, and it's beneficial for all of us that we train together. And and maybe the other team, so Lacrosse Club Ljubljana, they're more focused on youth lacrosse. But other than that, we accept everybody. Even if women, if they miss, and they come to men's practice, we always welcome them, and then we show them a way to train with the girls. So, and we sometimes even mix together guys and girls, just to have some fun, to have more players in. And you can always learn, I think, in lacrosse, whatever it is, even if it's 2 guys or 20 guys at practice, it's the same thing in the end. It's lacrosse. Yeah.
Okay. And so how many guys, what's the biggest practice you've ever been to in Slovenia? How many people?
I would say around 18, something like that.
18, okay.
It was before the Euros 2016. At that time, our Canadian guy already came over because he was playing with us, Ben Utrosa. And yeah, that was one of the biggest practices we had, but some of the guys then didn't join us at the Europeans, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, still, that was one of the biggest. And maybe right now we are at around 10 to 15 guys at practice. So
that's pretty good. I've talked to some other countries, and they would be happy to have 10 to 15 at a practice. So
yeah,
that's really good. How many people, I mean, I know you probably don't know the exact number, but if you could give us, an estimate of how many people you think are playing lacrosse in Slovenia, between all three clubs, men's and women's.
I would say around 20, 25, something like that.
Okay.
Yes,
So it's
especially the
still
women's
very
team.
small and growing, right?
Mhm.
Do you have any idea how, you started 6 years ago? Do you know anybody from the club that you started off at that was there from the beginning that kind of, have they ever told you how it all started?
Yeah, I heard some stories. I'm not sure if the maybe three guys that are still in lacrosse in Slovenia, they were there from the beginning. But these are my co-captain, my coach, and one of other players. But I do know that it started in Slovenia 16 years ago.
Okay.
So it's been around for quite a while and was brought here by Steve Fish. He comes from Wales. He brought some gear with him, and he connected with I think Aviano Air Base, something like that in Italy. So Air Force Base, and he connected with few Americans, and they came to practices. They came to play at the tournaments at that time with I think Austrians the most, and I know they attended some great tournaments in Berlin and Stuttgart.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think a lot's been going on even before that, and I do know there was a bit of like pause between some years because there was just no players, and
Right.
Olympia is now the club that's I mean the one with the longest still like
History.
I mean where guys can still play around
Mhm.
7 years now, and yeah, we're looking to grow the game even more. So yeah.
That's fantastic. So what, I know you mentioned the Facebook advertisement. That's kind of how they got you involved. What kind of things are the clubs doing to grow the game and to get more people to play?
So mostly what we do is we just do like we go through the park, Tivoli, and it's one of the biggest, where we play catch, and we just invite people, random people that come, or if they look interested, we just show him the stick, we show him the like the stick, the ball, and here it is. You can play if you want, and so that's one of the main things we do. We just do promotions like this. We are not really involved like in any so formal promotions,
Mhm.
but we try to work on that more. So this year, in the end of September, we will attend like it's European Week of Sport. It's a all European like let's say a holiday where we
Mhm.
celebrate sport and just trying to get people involved in sports. And we're trying to bring lacrosse into that too. So it's sponsored by the Olympic Committee of Slovenia, and
Mhm.
trying to get in and just try to introduce the sport to as many people as we can. We'll have our own stand there, so I think it's gonna be a good event. If I hope we can make it
Okay.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you
And
do?
sorry, just
Go ahead.
one more thing, if I can add, we also go to schools, high schools, elementary schools, to try to get the youth into the
Yeah.
game too.
Have you found that to be somewhat effective? Like, have you gotten a few new people by going to the schools to come out and try
Mm,
it?
to be honest, I don't think we got any new like directly from the schools, but
Mhm.
I think they are like interested somehow, but maybe they have other sports they are into it already, and it's hard for them to play one more sport or to spend money on new sport or stuff like that.
Right. You just need the people that are burnt out from soccer their whole lives, right? To quit soccer and start playing
Yeah,
lacrosse.
yeah. That would be the best.
Perfect. So, what kind of, have you participated in the European Championships, or is that something you plan on doing in the future?
So yeah, in 2016 we were on our first European Championships. I think it was 16 of us. I'm not sure. It was a great experience. Met a lot of great people, new connections. For me, I was around 2 years in the game, and half of the team was at around the same skill level. So it was somehow hard, but still a lot of fun playing there, playing with, I don't know, some of the best teams in the world. For example, Israel and Belgium.
Germany.
Yeah, Germany. Yeah, we didn't play them, but still, yeah, just a lot of fun watching them, seeing the atmosphere, looking like some of the best European players play there, and yeah, it was great experience. Yeah.
Okay, and then are you planning on attending next year as well to the European Championships?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
We already applied, so it's a shame it couldn't be
this year.
But for us, it's great because we have one more year to prepare. Yeah.
Right. And so, how many people typically go with you to these tournaments? How many people would you say are on the men's national team?
You mean right now, or?
Yeah.
Right now, let's say we have around 12, 13 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you need a few more just
on the roster.
Yeah, to get a little depth. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. And then is your goal obviously to do well enough at the European Championships to get an invitation to the World Championships?
I don't know. I mean, that's it's a hard question. I mean, on the last Europeans we finished last, so we have a lot to work on. But if the Europeans, I mean, of course they'll happen. I hope next year all the pandemics and all that will be done with. But yeah, we play with France, and we have some unsettled things with them because we lost with them the last time. So hopefully next year we will beat them. And the other opponent in the group stage is Finland, and they were third. I think,
yeah,
the last Europeans. So that's gonna be a bit harder. And I'm not sure about what are the rules, who can go where or when.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying always when I'm on the field, just try to have fun and play my best game, and that's it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Maybe it's a little too early to be thinking about worlds, but you never know what can happen.
Small steps.
Exactly. So, in a lot, it's different in every country. How hard is it for you? Do you have to, call friends, or do you have to order it from, one of the German lacrosse shop? How do you get your lacrosse gear?
So there are many different ways. I think now that Europe is so open, there are not many difficulties. For example, we order from the Captain Likes or Northern Soul Sportswear from the UK.
Okay.
And sometimes if it's a bigger order and we kind of spread the money, so that each pays for its part and for the customs too, then we order from USA also. So all the different options. But right now I think we're pretty good, loaded with quite some of the gear. We don't have that much problems with that. We just need more players to pick it up and play the game, So yeah,
that's good. One less problem to have, So you mentioned France. Are there any other countries that you like to play against, or that you would consider a rival yet, or countries that you scrimmage against?
So I would actually more consider my rivals or our rivals teams from other countries that are surrounding us. So we play a league called the New Lacrosse League, and it's consisted. Last year it's been Hungary, Austria, and Slovenia and Slovakia. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this year I think it's just 3 countries, but still we're playing as like as clubs. So maybe our biggest rivals are Graz Gladiators Lacrosse from Graz, and Vienna Monarchs, and from Budapest and Slovakia, yeah, at the moment. And always we are having good.
Go ahead.
And always we have good games with Croatia players too. Yeah.
Okay.
Croatian
Okay. And
team.
so for the people in America that don't 100% know where Slovenia is, they're not too familiar with that part of Europe. What countries are neighboring you?
So we are neighbored by Italy, Austria, Hungary, and Croatia on the south. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a beautiful part of the world. I have been to Italy a few times. I went to Dubrovnik last time I was in Europe. So yeah, I've never been to my mom. So my mom's from Germany. She grew up vacationing in Slovenia, and she says it's just gorgeous. So what languages other than Slovenian how do you say, is it Slovene or is it Slovenian?
I think it's Slovene. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What other languages do people in Slovenia speak?
So yeah, I would say we are pretty fluent in English because we just have a good school system. So we and at television, for example, we have subtitles, so you can learn from, I don't know, from cartoons or from movies all the time. And yeah, from elementary school till high school, you can like learn 10 to 12 years of English all the time. So that's one language I think, especially the youth, we are pretty good at. Then we have maybe German, Croatian, Serbo-Bosnian. So these are
all the
like
countries around you.
Yeah, ex-Yugoslavian languages. So, and then I don't know, maybe Italian, but still it depends which part of Slovenia you come from. Also, those that neighbor, they're closest to border. We have the borders. We have those small entities that have like two language schools, and so they can learn the language. I mean, they are obligated, I think. I'm not sure about that, to learn the language that's bordering, So
very cool.
Yeah.
So are you able to, I know you mentioned, so you have some English TV. Are you able to get access to watch professional lacrosse here from America?
So legally, no, we don't. Yeah.
But with a VPN, anything is possible, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Perfect. So I mean, then there's also YouTube, right? So you probably, you probably watch a lot on YouTube, and so what players have influenced you, and what are some of your favorite players that you get to watch through YouTube or whatever other way?
So for me, I used to play MIDI. I don't play MIDI anymore. I'll tell you about that later. But so one of my biggest influences, I think, YouTube influences were Sergio Salcido, Kyle Harrison, and Zach Goodrich from Towson. Yeah. And yeah, so to go back to why I don't play MIDI anymore. So this year I volunteered to go into the crease to play goalie. And it was solely because we didn't have anyone playing goalie, and we needed somebody to go to Europeans and play goalie, for the national team. And I volunteered. I knew what I can expect, but really hard now, let's say. And I just guess I'm less afraid, and maybe it was even beneficial for me to play MIDI for so long, because it just you're so much better with the stick, and yeah, so it's great.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree that that's helpful. Plus, you understand how shooting works and when shots are coming, and maybe where they're going to head, so you can anticipate that. I mean, it's like catching a very hard pass, right?
Yeah, somehow. But still, it's still a long way. Like I've been in the goal for just a couple of months, so I know I have a lot to work on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's no problem. I'm sure you'll be fine. Did I hear a rumor that one way or another, one of your favorite players, Sergio Salcido, came over to Slovenia?
Um, we tried to make this happen, but in the end, I think there was just not enough applications from the players. So we just invited like a couple of surrounding countries, the players from these countries to come to this clinic, but in the end, it was just, I don't know, not enough people coming over, and yeah, in the end, it didn't happen. But
Oh,
maybe in the future, who
yeah,
knows?
yeah. No
Yeah.
worries.
So
I'll cut that part out.
okay.
Mark from Lax All Stars had mentioned that, so I wanted to definitely ask about it.
Yeah,
Well,
I know. I
cool.
was running that project, and I put a lot of effort into it. But if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be.
Yeah, maybe in a couple years, right?
Mm.
When you can get a bigger crowd. Okay. Is there anything you wanted to add about, lacrosse in Slovenia, life in Slovenia, anything at all like that?
Uh, I have a couple of things on my mind. So I'll start with so we had just before the pandemics, basically 2 days before it was like officially in Slovenia, like design, like I don't know what the word is. If you can help me,
I can
but
try.
it was introduced or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so before, we had to be on the lockdown, and none of the activities were allowed to continue. So we had Brian Whitmer over for national team clinic. So
Okay.
yeah,
Very
so he was here for a couple of days. I know that he enjoyed Slovenia very much, and even all the other like players we had over that were here for a few days. They all just had all the best to say about Slovenia, the people, the country. I mean, not in many places in the world you can say that in one day you can go to the mountains and in 2 hours you can be at the seaside. So that just it's a huge advantage for us. We just need to like respect and cherish what we have here more, because it's just not the same like in maybe some other places in the world. So yeah, I'm definitely proud that like Slovenia has so much to offer. So yeah. So yeah, I have a funny story actually from like what I experienced 2 months ago. So we had that new girl coming to practice. She's living in Slovenia now. She's from Ukraine. She's in international school. Uh, and she was just Googling because she was playing before in England, lacrosse. And she Googles and she found about so women's lacrosse club Olympia, and she was afraid to contact them because they thought she thought we were so professional. Like Olympia, it's a well-known like sports club name in Slovenia and further in Europe. The soccer club, the basketball club, the hockey clubs. They're all like the best clubs, like in Slovenia, at least in Ljubljana. So, and of course we have like this huge span and with the name, and yeah, we try to use this also to our advantage, like in social media and stuff like that. But it's good that she came in the end, and she found out there were like 3-4 girls just playing there, and it's nothing big deal. She's now in the game, with us training, and she brought two of her schoolmates too, and one is from Ukraine, the other is from Russia. So yeah, now we train together, and the guy said like he wanted to apply here for like being a professional soccer player or somewhat professional, like playing like second or first league, maybe even in
Right.
Slovenia. He's like also one of the youngest. He's I think 18, 19 years old, but he just lost all the motivation because they didn't accept him in that soccer team where he was training. He didn't get the passes. He was just a foreigner. So and then he came for lacrosse along with this guy, a Russian guy, and he just said like I felt so accepted. We were just talking about that like a few days ago, and that's what lacrosse should be about. Just having like people over because of the fun and the respect for each other and the friendship.
Absolutely. Aleš, thank you so much for your time, and stay tuned, everybody, for another episode of Going Offsides Goes Overseas.
All right, thanks, Nick. It was great talking to you.
You as well. All right, bye-bye.
Yeah. See ya.